All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about an epic turf war, and it's playing out in the skies over the Pacific Northwest. Our story starts at a place a lot of you probably know pretty well, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, SeaTac. It's a massive gateway to Asia and a really key hub on the West Coast. But here's the thing, this airport isn't just a hub right now. It's the main stage for a fierce battle between two airline giants. It's a fight for dominance that's completely reshaping travel in the region. So who are the players in this high-stakes game? Okay, first up, let's look at the airline that has long considered Seattle its own personal, unshakable fortress, the hometown hero, Alaska Airlines. So on one side, you've got Alaska Airlines. They have these super deep local roots and a ton of loyal followers. On the other side, the massive global power of Delta, a legacy carrier with a really aggressive strategy to conquer new territory. It's the classic story, the hometown hero versus the global giant. And if you want to understand just how dominant Alaska has been, you just have to look at the numbers. They control nearly half of all the traffic at SeaTac. That's a staggering 49% market share, more than double their closest competitor, Delta. That's huge. And for years, Alaska built up this massive lead with a really powerful combination of factors. They offer more flights than anyone else, they have these deep community ties, and a giant base of fiercely loyal customers who are all part of their mileage program. But, and this is a big but, for all their local strength, there was this major chink in their armor. If you wanted to fly from Seattle to, say, Europe or Asia, you simply couldn't do it on an Alaska Airlines plane. Simple as that. And you know what? That exact weakness, well, it created the perfect opening for a challenger. And that brings us to Delta's strategic invasion. So rewind to 2014. Delta makes this incredibly bold move. They officially designate Seattle a major hub with one clear goal in mind. Use it as a launch pad for all those super profitable routes across the Pacific. And ever since then, they've just been pouring resources into the airport. And their strategy? Oh, it was razor sharp. They went right after high-value corporate travelers by offering the one thing Alaska couldn't, a truly global network. They invested a ton of money in fancy premium lounges and used their SkyTeam airline partners to create this massive web of international destinations. Now, you didn't think Alaska was just going to sit back and take this, did you? Of course not. Delta's invasion triggered an immediate and aggressive response, and it kicked off a full-blown arms race for control of Seattle's skies. Alaska knew they couldn't just play defense on their home turf. Nope, they had to go on offense and fight back on the global stage. And their move was a huge one. They acquired Hawaiian Airlines. Now, this wasn't just about adding some nice vacation routes. It was about getting their hands on Hawaiian's fleet of long-range planes. With those jets, they could finally launch their own flights to major hubs like London and Tokyo, directly challenging Delta's core advantage. But listen, Delta is a global giant for a reason. They immediately showed they were playing for keeps, countering Alaska's every move with some seriously impressive speed. So, as a direct reply to Alaska's new European flights, Delta immediately announced its own new route to Barcelona. The signal was crystal clear: we will not give up an inch of ground. Delta just keeps leaning into its core strengths, that deep global network and that premium front-of-the-plane experience. So you might be wondering, why is this fight so incredibly intense? Well, this quote gets right to the heart of it. The real prize here, the thing they're really fighting over, is the incredible profitability of international business and first-class travel. Those lie-flat seats on the long-haul flights? That's where the airlines make their real money. So after all these strategic attacks and counterattacks, all these big moves, where does the battle for Seattle actually stand today? Who has the upper hand? All right, let's look at the current scoreboard. Alaska still holds a commanding lead in the local market, no question. But Delta has the raw power of a vast global network. So moving forward, Alaska's big challenge is to build its international service profitably, while Delta has to make sure Seattle remains a top priority in its massive worldwide system. Okay, so what does this whole corporate showdown mean for you, the traveler? It all boils down to a battle for your loyalty. See, both airlines want to be your one and only choice, the single program you use for every single trip, whether it's a short hop to Portland or a long-haul flight all the way to Rome. So here we are. You've got Alaska, the hometown hero, now armed with wide-body jets and global ambitions. And you have Delta, the legacy giant, fiercely defending the turf it fought so hard to win. It all leaves us with the ultimate question. In this high-stakes war for the West Coast, who are you betting on to finally rule the skies?